Hey guys, today we're doing another replay analysis. This one's a little different though. Most of the time I am looking at one hero in particular, but this time this post is about these four players who usually play together and they pick up some like fifth random person from lobbies. And they're wondering like what they can do to improve like as a group, which I think is cool, and it'll be a little harder to talk about though. Like I can't focus on just one player. So I think the best way for me to do it will be I'm gonna talk about what I think of the draft, I guess, and what the game plan to win is. And I hope like you four can then compare that to like what you were thinking entering the game. I'm gonna talk about just what the items tell me, and then we're gonna go look at the skill builds real quick, and then we're gonna see how that, like what happened at those points. So like, for example, Legion has a very good start up to 10 minutes. Soul Ring, Bracer, Phase Boots by about 9 minutes. That's actually pretty good. And then we see this long, like, period where you don't seem to, like, progress very well in items. So we're going to see, okay, what happened there. Same with this Lifestealer. This is an alright start, but then between here, that's like 200 gold a minute. And you get about 90 passively, which means you're only last hitting like 2 or 3 creeps a minute, and that is not ideal. So we're going to go take a look, see what happened there. So first in terms of items, first in terms of draft, let's talk about that. I actually really like this draft. Sand King as a 4 is a little uncommon nowadays, but I don't think that makes it bad. Sand King happens to be one of the 4s I don't really play, but I still think I know a bit about it. Generally, it's you want to rush Blink. Sorry. And this is a real... I think this is SEA Dota, right? Does it say here? I feel like it used to say what region it was. I'm pretty sure this is Southeast Asia Dota, which I'm very fond of. As you can see here, this like 4-core draft. I've played a lot of games in Southeast Asia. It's always funny. So we'll see how that goes. Your draft is pretty good because you have Legion Commander who wants to get off duels, obviously, and you have a very good partner for that in Lifestealer because you infest and duel, and just the two of you can get a lot of kills. Better than that, you have an Invoker with Sunstrike. Now I know he's not like in your party, but the hero itself is very good. And so I hope to see that you guys communicate that when you try to kill someone, tell them like, hey, Sunstrike here. Because you have 2 stuns to set that up, even outside of duel. You have Vengeful Spirit stun and Sand King stun, and together that is enough time to land a Sunstrike. So you should also go for First Blood. We'll see if you do that. Just like either top or bottom, but these 2 with a stun plus one of them hitting, and then Sunstrike, that should be First Blood right before even the horn goes off. Then the minus armor synergizes really well with these 2, and just as a whole, you've got stuns, you've got damage. I like it. Their side, they have a lot of cores. They don't have a real offlaner, so like I'm gonna guess Morphling is mid, he's safe lane, and you've got like some weird offlane Gyrocopter. Otherwise, maybe he's in the offlane and he's mid. I don't know. We'll see when the game loads. These 2 are supports, which isn't too bad. You have to be scared of... The reason I think these 3 should lane together is because Shackles into stun, into his barrage damage, that's very good. So they could also get a First Blood. But to your benefit, you have people to cancel Shackle. You have like your own stuns to set it up, plus the Sunstrike. So both sides could get First Blood. And they also just have a good lane together if they tri-lane these 3. But that's a little weird because then you're leaving AM alone, and that might not be ideal. So we'll just have to see how they lane. In terms of items, maybe looking over here, where is it? Looking over here is probably a bit better for items. But we don't get to see the timings, which is kind of a downside. So we'll ignore his items for now, except for the fact that he has an urn. Oops, what's that? Except for he has an urn, which is a little weird on Quas Exort Invoker, but if he's going to build it, that's fine. But then you can't have a second one. That's... I forgot to turn my light on. That's it's not good to have 2 urns. So you have to notice what this guy's building and adjust to that. And I would recommend maybe a medallion because Lifestealer is mostly physical damage, so that just works well together. Lifestealer, your build is okay, but the timing was slow. Yeah. So this is at 16 minutes, which is not ideal, and neither is the Radiance. Ideally, you have the Radiance and the Midas by about 20 minutes. And obviously, there's some room for adjusting that based on what level you are. The reason I'm pointing it out now, like usually I think this is fine, and then you just scale into the game. But when you're against this many cores, you can't play that way. You have to go faster. So if you want to do this build, I think that's okay, followed up by like a Deso or an Armlet. Deso for the tower push, or Assault Cuirass, that also would be good. Something that helps you take towers quickly, because you're the tower hitter, and you want to try to finish the game quickly against this many core heroes. So if you want to do the Midas Radiance build into like a Deso AC, that's okay, but you have to be able to farm fast enough to do that. And if you're not confident in being able to do that, then I think you have to shift the build to be like Armlet Deso, maybe Deso Armlet, some combination of those two. And then once you have those two, you're like fighting, and that would let you fight by, let's say, when you got this Radiance, that's about 20 minutes, I believe. Yeah, so the same amount of net worth would be between Midas and Radiance would be approximately Deso Armlet, which would, this is an okay time to push, especially in like pubs. Legion, you had a good start, but I don't like what you did with it, transitioning to Deso into an Ags. In terms of Deso, really you want him to build the Deso later, because you are one of the initiators. Like AM, his spell shield, now granted this might be lower level, so maybe he's not going to hit the spell shield every time, but the spell shield against Venge Q and Sand King's Burrow Strike essentially lets him get away if he hits it fast enough. The reason Legion is such a good counter pick to AM is because even if he shields your duel, he duels you, so it's like the same thing. You're happy with it either way. But what that means is that you have to be able to get on top of him and duel him. If he sees you running up, he's just going to blink away. So you have to get blink. And that's also good against like these supports. If you duel them, they'll probably die. Morphling, if you're able to duel him before he can shift strength. There's just a lot of reasons you need a blink. And then you, like the typical follow-up is like Blade Mail or something, which is nice for like these heroes because they can't control their damage. Especially like Gyrocopter, he uses flat cannon and it just hits everything. And if you have a Blade Mail, it's going to reflect that damage. And then Ags, I think is just really bad on Legion until she has. I mean, I think it's bad like throughout most of the game, because the reason you pick Legion is because you want to get these duel wins, and the reason Legion is a good hero is because you blink duel someone with your team, and they burst that hero down. You sunstrike them, you infest bomb them, and you kill them. And you take away all of that with Ags. Like the whole reason I think this is a good draft is because you have people to set up all these duel kills, but Aghanims makes that disappear. If you're buying Aghanims, you have to be at a point on Legion Commander that you alone can kill a hero. And late game, I don't think you can kill any of these heroes by yourself, especially not without a Blade Mail, let alone like some of these supports. Even if you blink duel this Shadow Shaman, I don't think you'll get a duel kill with only 136 damage without any of your teammates helping you. So I really dislike seeing Aghanims on Legion Commander. I think she should build like so many other items before that, and like maybe get it as like a final item. But I think at minimum you need a blink because you need to be able to go on this AM. Otherwise he's always going to escape. Similar with Morphling. Sand King, your timing, we're gonna have to see what happened in the game, but this timing is just not ideal. You really want this blink a lot sooner, so we're gonna have to find time where you can farm a little better. And then Veil after isn't really great on position 4. The reason that offlaners do it is because they usually rush Veil and they get, you can buy the items in the side shop besides the recipe part. So you get the armor and regen, or you get the stats from the side shop, and it just helps you lane. And then the active helps you get kills really early because offlaners are finishing it like by the 10-minute mark, maybe a little later. And then that lets you set up kills. Even if you're an offlaner, it would be pretty hard to get kills against these guys because he blinks out, he morphs strength. You could probably kill this guy or like any of these three. So if you wanted to do that as an offlaner, that would be okay. But as a position 4, like at this point, you're not solo killing anyone with magic, and your team is heavily dependent on physical damage between Lifestealer, Legion Commander, and then the minus armor from Venge. So amplifying magic isn't useful. Something else like, what would be good against these guys? I want to say Force Staff is a very common build on position 4s. Maybe a Yule's. Yule, so that you can like another tool to disrupt the shackle, or you see a rocket coming in, or you see Lina about to land a stun, you Yule's it. Atos, or not Atos, the Lotus Orb would also be good. But I just don't like this Veil. And then what else? I think we talked about all that. Skill builds, we won't go too much into right now, except to say that I think you want a point in press the attack sooner, because like either probably skip one of these points in Moment of Courage. So like Moment of Courage, overwhelming odds, press the attack, and then finish maxing overwhelming odds. Mainly because if he shackles someone, you can purge that off, and you can purge off a lot of these stuns, which means if you're duo laning and you see him get shackled or stunned, you can purge it off, and he can get away without being light striked, arrayed, or the rocket falls up or whatever. And then if you get shackled, then you have one of these guys to stun for you to get out. So having a point in that helps both sides. And if you have a soul ring, it's good to be able to like soul ring and then heal yourself. There's no reason to max feast if there's no strength hero that you're laning against. The reason, if you look at like pro builds, why they max out feast is usually because they're against some strength hero and feast is really good. But against all these guys, it's not so good. So usually at 2 points, I would say you then switch to maxing rage, or you could max open wounds too to get the lower cooldown, but I think rage is probably a little more common to build first. Venge, I think at least 1 point in Vengeance Aura is also important because you have these 2 strength cores help amplify their damage a bit, and it also gives you that illusion after you die to like be annoying and like scout with. So having at least 1 value point is really good, but the Venge build is kind of fluid. A lot of people do different things. Okay, what does everyone have? This looks okay. This is alright. Yeah, that's okay. You don't need to start the Quelling Blade. I would, against Treant, you can start one. But against these guys, I would just buy your Quelling Blade in the side shop. And then you can build... You could build a salve instead. You could buy one of your gauntlets instead. Yeah, I would say you just buy one of your gauntlets and then finish the Quelling Blade with the rune gold you get. Let's turn Fog to just your team. What's this guy getting, just out of curiosity? I think Iron Branches are a little more important to get, but it's fine. So you're not doing the First Blood thing, which I think would have been good with Sunstrike. So 100 damage, pure damage. 1 stun, 100 damage, 1.5 seconds. Follow-up stun, don't overlap them. Another 100 damage. So right now you have 300 damage from stuns. Factoring in magic resistance is probably like 250. About 3 seconds of stuns. So let's say you all just auto-attack once in that time. You have 50 damage. You have 45 damage. You have 59 damage plus feast. You know, all of you attack, that's 150 damage. All of you attack 3 times, that's 450 damage. Look at their lives, 640, 700, 700, 500, 660. You know, so all of you hit your spell, Sunstrike, all auto attack, that's a kill. First blood. I think that's really good. Okay, I'm not going to be able to check everyone's perspective, but I'm going to guess you don't... It's uncommon to check items too often. But look at their regen. She's got 2. It's got 4 shared tangos, which is really weird. And it's not the same as having 4 tangos, because they have a 60-minute cooldown, 60-second cooldown in between each use, which essentially means he has 1 tango at any given moment. So that's really bad. 3 tangos... 3 tangos, though granted he's a little hard to kill. 3 tangos. They all have very little regen compared to you guys, which means the way you need to play the lane is to be really aggressive, auto attack a lot, not necessarily use your spells, but you need to harass him a lot because you'll win the regen war.
30 seconds to battle.
Both of you sitting here isn't too helpful. One of you wants to like go stand down here, or at least like a little further back to scout if they're coming to place a ward around here, and to try to see who is in what lane, right? Because you don't know with these cores, it's kind of confusing, like who's in what lane. So you need to kind of like scout it out, stand a little further up, try to see who it is, check their items to know how you have to play. Same with up here. One person can be standing here or here to get the rune, the other person come like check over here, and if you think they can get kills, sometimes that's reason to play a little safe back, but that's kind of also a reason to like get out and spot them coming in. It's kind of a hard balance. You kind of have to know how to push it, which I won't go into right now. But like Legion with 332 movement speed is really fast and can get out here before any of these guys. You know, 313, 285, 287, 318, 313. So she's the first hero. If she has a ward, she should come out, drop it, and scout for them. If she doesn't have a ward, that's fine. But you know, he's also fast. You know, you want to get out here and get in a position to see them coming in. And I hope you check his inventory and see that he just warded there.
This ain't no snowball fight.
Should I like zoom out? Nah, let's not do that yet. So what's happening? I'm going to be watching the minimap a lot because I don't know how else to try to judge how your team is doing. So see how you bought this right away? So this just goes back to what I said. You could buy this Quelling Blade in the side shop, and you would have this with you, and now you pick up your Quelling Blade, and now you have all of that, and you don't have to touch the courier. What's happening up here? There you go. So that's bad. You have to prioritize your last hits. So like, range creeps come first amongst everything. Right here, forget this deny. Venge auto attack this, you auto attack this. In fact, you can probably just kill this on your own. 96 health, 59 plus 20 plus feast. You can probably last hit that. Maybe needs to take a little more damage. I'm not sure. Not getting this, it's not good because they're going to deny it now. Venge committing stun to get this is worth it, honestly. I know you'll be out of mana after that, but I don't know. You have to. It's really important to secure range creeps in terms of levels and gold. It's worth the most. Essentially, think about it that it's worth half the wave, right? So getting these 3 melee creeps is the same as getting 1 range creep. It's not quite like that, but tell yourself it's like that, and then you'll prioritize getting that range creep a lot more. I think I'm gonna look here a little more. So at 1.5 seconds, it's not quite the full time you need for Sunstrike to land, but anytime you're wanting to stun, you should try to tell this guy, I'm about to stun, can he Sunstrike? And if he fires it just as your stun is about to land, by the time they get unstunned and start to move again, Sunstrike should hit and like this would be a kill. So I know this guy is a random joining your party for this game, but you still have to communicate with him because he's still on your team. I'm going to focus on top lane a little bit more because based on Legion's item timings, I think they were pretty good. So we're going to see what happened here. I'm not going to point out missing last hits too often because I'm sure you know you're supposed to get them. And that's just like a matter of practice. I think you're focused a little too much on harassing them. You need to kind of work on getting your last hits in, because like look how many are building up. This is going to do a lot of damage to you under the tower, and you're going to lose. Like they're both level 2 and you're both still level 1. You want to be at a point where, like, if you had your E in combination with stun and wave of terror, you would be getting kills. So you need to start prioritizing picking off some of these creeps, picking off some of these. A lot of times they tell you like don't auto attack creeps because you don't want to push, which is true. But if it's going to push into you, then you do need to like start balancing it out somehow. This is a very scary position against both of them being level 2 and you're level 1. And all of these creeps here, so Lifestealer cannot come assist you. And Lifestealer's not really a hero that can do anything to help you anyways. You have to be careful about harassing from over here. I recommend if you want to harass, you should stay over here. And that way, if they go on you, you're closer to back away. Which leads me to my next point. I noticed these are still open. Either Lifestealer with his Quelling Blade, or you when you use your tangos. This tree right here, this tree right here, and this tree right here. Right now, with all of these trees still in here, if you were standing here and they decide to go on you, you either have to run through here, through all these creeps, where they can easily stun you, and they'll probably kill you, or you have to run all the way back here before you're back under your tower. If you break any of these trees that I just pointed out, then you're able to cut through that into your tower immediately. So you can stand here, harass, and if they try to go on you, you run through here and you're safe right away, compared to having to go all the way around here, or trying to run through into them and into the creeps. So cutting these trees is really important for safe lane. On this side, if you ever play Radiant, it's this tree right here, and actually it's just this tree, really. These are all like doubled up in weird ways. So cutting this tree is really important, and cutting this tree can also help you like juke into through here, but this is less necessary as cutting this one. Cutting this tree is also important to be able to do like the side pull, and also if you cut this tree, you can actually pull these creeps through here, and then pull the creeps when they walk through here. It's a bit of a weird timing, but I'm sure you can find a video of it. At the bottom real quick. Don't just randomly throw it out. So you got a melee creep there, but you're pretty close. You probably could have just auto-attacked it. And you also have to remember the range creep. So same as I was telling these guys, you have to really prioritize this. Generally, you want to save overwhelming odds to secure this range creep. So now it's unlikely that you're going to have overwhelming odds by the time you might need to use it on this creep. In fact, let's watch this and see. It might work out because it's pushing into you. You have to be careful about using your mangoes like that because he's just going to burn off all your mana. So if you're going to use a mango, you have to be like actually about to use a spell right away. In this case, you kind of like ran around a bit, took extra harass before throwing out Sandstorm, and it puts you in a bad spot like that. Which is also why I wouldn't have recommended stunning him here, because you had creeps pushing into you. You have to know when you're going to trade. And if there are more enemy creeps than yours, then you don't want to be fighting. Also, you just died and you teleported back to lane. You can drop your items, and then he can pick them up and bring them to you, and that way you don't need to use the courier. It takes a little bit of micro to get used to, like for you to right-click, press drop, right-click, press drop, and then get back to here. But it's definitely a skill worth working on. It only works if you have like good communication, but definitely consider that. Let's go find out how these guys died. So you stunned a little too soon. Alright.
just achieved first blood.
Your
Thanks,
stun
and have
is for
fun.
2 things. Possibly securing a range creep, which is not ideal. Ideally, you use like Wave of Terror to get it or something. It's a little low damage, but if you get used to the timing, it's good enough. Second, in this lane, you wait till he uses Shackle on Lifestealer. You stand far enough back so that he does not shackle you. And if he ever shackles this guy, then you stun him. So here, you're looking to chase. They have more creeps. Specifically, they have more range creeps, which do the most damage out of all of them. It's because of... It doesn't show on here, I don't think. But their damage is just... It's higher. I don't know how to explain that. So he gets hexed, and you stun too soon. Like, he's already out anyways. And you need to make sure he uses shackles. And running up here is not ideal, because what can you do up here? You can not do anything up here. So you still want to stay like further back and auto attack them, sure. But if he's backing up, you need to back up too. Because right now what he should do is just shackle you, and I think they kill you, because all of these creeps are aggroed on you. This amount of creeps is like having a 3rd hero here, maybe even more. This is like having 2 extra heroes here if they're all attacking you. He should just shackle you.
Flush, this is Gabe Newell. Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
Okay, we will rewind to watch it. I just, like, I want to point out how much these creeps are doing, because I really want to emphasize that. It's a big part of laning. So this is another range creep denied.
Thanks and have fun.
Okay. Look how much damage they're doing to you. Now look how much damage they're doing to you. It's kind of hard to tell from here, but I promise you it's a lot of damage. And he was going for this kill, which is unfortunate.
Double kill.
I don't know how to explain it, but I think you guys lost several range creeps there too amidst that. You weren't there for the experience either, which I think should show here. Yeah, so like you two are down here, which is not good compared to him and him, which are up here, because they're getting the denies on these range creeps and you aren't getting it. What would you buy in terms of items? Boots. They've been right-clicking you a bunch. This guy's a bunch of damage. This guy has a bunch of damage, the way Morphling works. That's physical damage. You're going to build phase boots. Why not buy... Oh, I should close this. Chainmail. +4 armor. That way, you can even buy it from the base. But, like, you're not really going to be moving around, are you? Like, you're last hitting the creeps, which means you're just going to be, like, here. So you don't really need the extra movement speed. And you're already quite fast, actually, even without these boots. Ignore this. You're at, like, 320-something, I think. So you're already pretty fast. And just having the armor would help you survive all these right clicks a little more. It would reduce a lot of them. It would probably bump you up to about 30 physical resistance. Maybe a little less than that, but it's a good amount. Here, Venge has 7. Yeah, Venge is at 32. So 32%. I'm looking, I can't move my mouse without showing it, but in like that top right. So you can see. So you're at 70%, buying that blades or whatever. Oh, it'd be a little less because Venge is actually technically at like 8 armor. Point being, it's a lot more physical resistance. It doesn't sound like a lot, like 10%, but essentially every time they auto attack you, I mean, essentially if you look at it, 600, 10% increase, so 60 extra health. It still doesn't sound like a lot when I say it like that, but I promise it is. It's happening here. I guess it's okay. So, you just committed half your mana pool, and like, look how much damage it did to her. Not a lot. And now if he auto attacks you once or twice, you can't really do anything in this lane because you don't have a mango or a wand anymore. Against anti-mage, you kind of want to stick so that you can start building up like charges to use against to use when you're low on mana. A Mango would also work. So now you stun twice, and you can't do anything else in this lane. And in fact, there's very little for you to do in this lane. And I would say Legion's actually okay on her own. You really want to prioritize Legion level 6, because once she's level 6, she threatens Anti-Mage on his own. Anti-Mage is not afraid of dying to you two right now, because he can always just blink away anytime you try to go on him. Between one stun and all the damage you can output, as long as he doesn't let him get too low, he'll always be able to get away. But once she has duel, he's now at threat of dying between a stun, overwhelming odds, duel, sunstrike. Now he's scared. So you really want to prioritize some experience on Legion Commander. So since you got 2 points in Sandstorm and there's not much you can do in this lane, I really recommend... You could jungle on your side, but honestly, are they going to rotate that much if you come jungle on their side and steal their creeps instead? I don't think so. So come walk over here. You know, Sandstorm, clarity up. Let's look up here. What's going on here? You've managed to equalize on levels a bit. This point and stun is okay, I guess. I don't know. The Venge build is really weird. It's kind of nice to help you land Sunstrikes, I guess. And it does do a lot more damage. But the stun scales very poorly. Whereas the armor reduction actually is really nice. Since he's all physical. But so would a little bit more damage. It's kind of tough. What about you? 2 points in Feast, 1 in Open Wounds. I think that's fine. You should go look to pull because this is pushing. I mean, there are probably other chances you could pull, but I just kind of missed it from not paying attention. It's kind of hard watching both, trying to watch all 4 people. So this one you actually could have made it. Here, let me demonstrate. So you come stand here. You have to have this tree cut, which you do have a tango, so you could do. You come stand here. Right around now, I would say. Maybe a little earlier. Actually, right about now is good. You would auto-attack these creeps, or even from here, you could Wave of Terror them, and they would run up towards you, I think. You might be a little far. But anyways, you aggro them, you pull them up through here, and by the time you, stand around here, they auto-attack you, these creeps will see it. Look how close they get. They get right here. So if you're standing here, and the jungle creeps hit you, they'll run over, run through this cut tree, and you'll have completed a pull. Because you were trying to do this pull, but you realized you weren't going to make it in time. Which, actually... let's see. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have made it. I was going to say you could potentially have Wave of Terror and pulled them in, but it would have been pretty hard. 2 wards here doesn't really do anything for your team. You should just hold your ward. Who's really going to rotate over here? There's no point. If you already have one here, you'll still see them rotate in this way. What's going on mid? Doesn't matter. He's not part of the group. Bounty runes, that's good. A little too soon. Should buy the chainmail from the side shop. Move one of these iron branches out of your way. There you go. I'd buy another TP too, probably, but it's not a huge deal. Okay, 1 Sunstrike kill there. Nah, you're not gonna kill this guy. It's really hard to kill Morphling with what you had. Okay, you have a lot of things pushing here, so you should just commit. Come back. Come push with this. Look how many creeps you have, and the catapult wave. Just stay here and push into this tower. Just auto attack all these creeps. Now look, all your creeps died. You haven't done any tower damage. I have some more creeps here now. Let's see. See how much tower damage gets done. So without doing anything, it did 350 about. So imagine if you had like auto attack those creeps, pushed in faster, auto attack this tower maybe, and then your extra creeps walk in. It's just this feeling of pressure, and you probably would have gotten like half the tower down. And that just sets you up to get more of the tower later. Take a look over here. Let's check up on items. Boots, that's fine. Soul ring. Treads is kind of uncommon. Yeah, so see how low that guy got and he still survived? It's just like really hard to go on him. I wouldn't even bother. I would only focus going on this guy.
Radiant's middle tower shouldn't have to take this abuse.
Shouldn't you have seen that? Or did I miss something? Did he have... Yeah, you've got a ward here. So, you should definitely have seen this guy coming in and just all backed away.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
See, because this tree's not here, you have to run all this way, and he'll probably kill you for this, actually. He will. So imagine if this tree was down and you could have just run through here. I thought that was a Sunstrike. It's not worth it. You'll never kill him. Go on the Lina instead. Stick would also be useful.
Thanks for playing Dota.
Everyone should always buy a
Double
stick.
kill.
It's very good. You should buy a stick. You should buy a stick. You have a stick. Good job. You should have a stick.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
He should have a stick. It's especially good against AM. But like, think about how many spells these guys cast. It's just good to have. It's good value. You don't have to upgrade it to a wand. You can keep it at a stick.
It shall not be.
Okay, this guy's level 6. You should all play with him. Sand King, Venge, come down here. Possibly Lifestealer, honestly. Tell you what was happening?
Are those cracks in Dire's top tower?
I was thinking if Lifestealer could have hitched a free ride in someone. I don't think it would have been worth it to go on Lifesteal, Invoker. But you two should buy one. Someone should buy a smoke. I don't care who it is. Someone needs to get it. Legion, you can buy your own smoke too. 3 of you should smoke together. Even without Lifestealer, that's fine. Smoke, run up, stun this guy. Second stun, duel him, Sunstrike. He's dead. Do it to anyone. Even Morphling might survive, actually. Morphling is really tanky. He's hard to kill. Any of these 4 will die to that, and you'll get your first duel win and start creating a lot of pressure. But duel, it's not being used off cooldown. And that is the ideal, is to be able to use it a bunch. But if she's alone, she can't duel. So you need someone to come to here and help her duel. Like Theorycraft, right, real quick. 160 damage, 70 damage per second here. So you stun, Sandstorm, probably do about 300 in your stun alone, considering all the resistances. Then she comes auto attacks, maybe she uses overwhelming odds. Another 200 damage during that stun. And then she duels, which lasts 4 seconds. So that's like another 200 something damage from this, plus your auto attacks. Even the two of you alone probably get a kill. Especially if the target isn't at full health. Oh, and then the Sunstrike, of course. He's got how many? 4 points? So that should be about 200, 300 damage, something like that. Pure damage. So I think my math isn't good, but I'm pretty sure that was roughly 1,000 damage between all the auto attacks and the duels and everything, and the Sunstrike. And taking a look at all these guys, 900 health, 780 health, 1,000 health, 640 now, potentially a lot higher, 880 health. So it's like, that's a kill. That's a duel. That's space. It's money. Okay. Fair enough. There's the first one. Get another smoke. Second one's coming. 30 seconds. Because has he gained any more health? Not really. Has this guy gained any more health? Not really. Where'd you go? Why'd you come up here? Did I miss something? What was happening? He was low. You're taking a lot of tower damage, so you TP'd in. Now this guy here. Do you guys know the offlane, the dead lane concept? I don't know what the SEA content creators are. I only know English content creators and like what's common there. The dead lane concept is by BSJ, which is that the safe lane tower always falls first. And like yours is about to die. So protecting it is kind of good, but committing a bunch of resources up here at the cost of other people is not great. And so right now what you're doing is you're committing a lot of resources in a lane that's not really going the best for you to protect a tower that's already about to die. And now Legion, like, this is her moment to start snowballing, and she has no one to help her get killed. She can't do it alone. She needs at least one of you. Venge, Sand King, Lifestealer, at least one of you plus the Sunstrike will always be a kill at this point in the game. Someone has to be down here with her. Haha! Lol. This is kind of directly obvious, I would say, but it looks like it's gonna work out. Ooh, it's not gonna work out. That was weird. Was your rage on cooldown? You should use rage like the second you pop out. Ultimately, this is just not where you want to make a play. Gyrocopter rotating in did change that, but like, this is just isn't where you want to play. You want to come bottom, get a kill with Legion, duel someone, take this tower with like 3 or 4 of you here. Lifestealer, come down too. Lifestealer infest like Sand King or something, or Venge. TP down here. That way Lifestealer's teleport is still on, like he still has it, and that way he can rotate top if he wants or wherever else. You all get that dual kill I talk about. Get this tower with 4 of you. You can kill it with a good wave push. If the enemy all rotates in, you back up. Lifestealer teleports top because now it's open because they've all rotated bottom. Or they don't rotate anyone down. You get this tower. Now the 3 of you leave this lane and leave Lifestealer down here. Drop a ward like here or here or here or wherever so that you can see people rotating in to get on him. But Pierce the spell immunity. Okay, that's what I thought, but I was double checking. So he can cancel a rage TP, but none of these guys can. And it's really unlikely that AM comes to gank Lifestealer. Odds are it's like one of these guys, a group of them coming to gank him. So Lifestealer should be able to just rage TP out of anything he needs to if you leave him down here alone with a ward. And he can also infest a creep and walk out further, so on, so forth. Leave Lifestealer down here. He farms waves. When it gets too close and he gets a little scared, he comes farms these jungle. If they come pushing in, he retreats, goes farm this jungle, or he TPs to another point at this point. And while that happens, the 3 of you are going to go like kill someone mid, kill someone top. I don't care where you go, but you're going to kill someone because there are 3 of you, and you can make those plays. That's unfortunate. Invoke Sunstrike. I need to show how much damage it does. Okay.
Someone better help Dire's middle tower.
Okay, why did we just TP top? If someone else gets in trouble now, you cannot rotate because you don't have your teleport, and there's nothing happening here immediately. So I would definitely recommend just walking out of base if you have nothing immediate to do, which right now you're not. Right? You're not farming, you're not ganking anyone, you're just kind of like standing here. And in this time that I've been following you around, if you had just walked out of base, you'd probably be here and you would have a teleport. So you'd have saved a little bit of money, saved the ability to go help a teammate when it's needed, and you would have accomplished the same amount of stuff in that time.
Radiant's middle tower is
Where are you teleporting now? Now you're teleporting to respond to a gank. Okay, this is actually... I missed that happening, but that was actually a perfect demonstration of what I was just talking about. Venge TP's in, Invoker TP's in. You cannot TP in because you TP'd here and nothing happened. Whereas if you've been walking and you see this happen now you can TP in. Now you can do something. Now we have a fight going on and you're still walking here. Have a weird death in glass. So that's... I don't. That's just like a matter of like not realizing, I think, what you can do as a team. But this guy is pretty far ahead. He's got phase boots, so he's pretty tanky. He has 13 armor, 45% physical resist. If he isn't hit by this, which honestly that won't lower his armor that much, it'll go down to like 40. Don't forget they have Laguna. They have like a lot of bursts. They're a lot better at getting these duels where you're not making the jump. This is tome in stock. I can't tell from this perspective, but you need to buy the tome if it's in stock.
I'd say wicked sick.
They're all bottom. You can't be in this jungle. You gotta be up here pushing this wave. As soon as you see multiple people down here, you know it's safe to push the lane. These are more valuable, and it'll eventually lead to pressuring a tower. You have to go push it immediately. Same with you. Come out here. Sandstorm. No, Sandstorm. Sandstorm's your farming tool. Sandstorm. Well, now it's too late. Now they're all here. Now it's scary. You max Sandstorm first, so it does 95 damage. So you need 4 seconds. Let's back up.
Dire structures
Melee creep has about 562 health, so more than 4 seconds. Instead of burrow striking, you just walk here, press W. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're probably all dead at that point. And now we see them show up. Now you just walk top. And if someone like tries to cut you off, you stun them and then walk through, or you just keep going this way, stun up this cliff. They can't walk up cliffs. But this is kind of one of your escape tools that you don't want to just use. It's especially powerful when you're near cliffs and can just burrow strike down or up a cliff and other people can't follow you as well. And this is not a great escape tool past the laning stage because people will carry detection, or they should.
Is the monster?
And I think you're trying to help Sand King here, which is good.
Dire's
But
middle tower is under attack.
as we saw earlier, like you trying to duel here when they had a bunch of people, you can't win those kind of duels. You win the duels that you pick off on this guy alone. Or... no, all 4 of them are here. I didn't see that. Yeah, so you want to go for the guy that's alone. So you buy a smoke. Bring one other person. I've established it, right? One person plus you plus Sunstrike. Kill. So you go find the guy alone. Not the group of people. I'm pretty sure you should be able to kill Ancients, which would be giving you more gold. Lifestealer is one of the heroes that can do it, especially if you max Feast. Then you open wounds if need be, infest something to heal. You can farm Ancients. That's a good kill.
Tis mine.
You definitely need 1 point and press the attack before maxing this out. This is such a good spell. This is an incredible spell. Now, you can't be level 4 at 15 minutes. You gotta buy this tome sooner. Try to prioritize having enough money to buy it at 10 minutes. Or farm it. Steal some creeps, jungle. Get the gold to get this tome as soon as possible. Now, walking up here is kind of obvious. This is the dual purpose of you smoking with Legion. You smoke with Legion, run through here, you place a ward while smoked. I recommend placing this ward a little lower, which is actually really funny because I just did another replay where the same thing happened. This ward got placed here and I said place it down here. Why? Because what do you see with this? See all this? But do you really need to see this part of the camp? Not really. If someone's farming it, they'll be standing around here, which means you have about 100 units to move this ward, like this way, or down here a little bit, and you'll still see, like, up to here, which will show you if someone's farming it. And then it will also give you a better, like, in this case, you do see him farming it, but if you position it slightly lower, then it'll show a bit more of here, and that way you'll be able to have a better idea of where he is when he's farming this, or farming this, as opposed to just being up here. Just like slightly shift it down. Wait, what were you at? This is really unnecessary. For multiple reasons. It's 100 seconds. This is your get out of jail free card. If you run into the lane and they come gank you, you infest this turret and you can get out because they can't kill their own turret. And you just sit there until it like pushes in, and you make them waste a bunch of time because they can't hit their own creeps and it takes forever to kill the siege creep. Or you do a melee creep if you have to. Or you get chased into the jungle and you infest something like here. But it's like a really powerful escape tool and a ganking tool, and you just used it to kill a medium creep, which is not ideal. This is 100 seconds for like 30 gold. At the least, infest one of these like bigger creeps because they're worth more. But this tiny creep was not. That was not worth it. If you want to use a spell to farm, use your rage. It gives you attack speed. Or this doesn't really help you farm unless you're low health. But like you were full health, you had no need to ult something for health. Yeah, like do this. That's fine. And then use your Quelling Blade while you're sitting here in between auto attacks. Cut one of these trees. So that way when you're done killing this camp, you can just run through here to this camp. Or cut this tree and then it's a direct path. Like save yourself those small seconds. Cut this tree so that you can run between the lane and this camp a little faster. Over here, you can like cut this tree on the ancient so that you can run between these camps a little faster. Down here, you can cut this one so you can go between this camp. Cut some of these so that it takes 2 now, but you can go between this lane a little more. That's about it. They just committed wards, so now's a good time to try to fight, except you guys are kind of pretty behind. 9k at 16 minutes is a lot. At this point, honestly, this game's super hard. It's really rough at this point to try to play. And so, like, they're all down here. You have to immediately leave the jungle. Don't even finish the camp that you're doing. Unless you're, like, 1 auto attack away from finishing a big creep. Like, this small camp, it's, like, few hundred, like, less than 100 gold. Coming up here would have been a lot better. Now, unfortunately, he's already here. So, instead of running top, maybe you go mid. Farm all these. This is worth, like, 150. and more experience. And you pressure this tower. And then you return to the jungle when they start showing up in lanes again. But when you have that many people bottom, you have to go to a lane. Always be in a lane until you can't. Until people are there to literally chase you away, be in a lane. And just because people are there doesn't mean you have to leave. If you're a lifestealer and understand how to push, like, who can kill you, who can't, then you can still stay in that lane. Now, I would have killed those 2 creeps first because your Midas was almost off cooldown, and then you could have Midas the big creep. Is there a phase to run around? I don't know if I missed that. You guys will not kill him. Just back away. Where did you just Sunstrike? No. Get in this lane. Get in this lane. Immediately. Look at this. 8 gold. 18 gold. It's not worth it. Lina can't kill you alone. Even if she stuns you... Admittedly, it's close. If she stuns you from Fog of War, uses Dragon Slave, Lagunas, and auto attacks, it'll come close. It'll almost kill you, honestly. But you immediately pop Rage. You infest something, because it won't be on cooldown, because you didn't use it on a medium camp. And you pop out of whatever you infested. You'll heal up a good amount. Maybe you don't Rage first, okay? Infest something, pop out if you need to, then Rage, TP out. She can't pierce immunity. And that way you'll have been farming lane, she'll have used all her spells, and you get out. Better than the, like, 40 gold you got from farming that camp. Same thing, I really don't think you need to infest that creep, but at least that time it was the big creep, so it was better. But again, pay attention to where your Midas is on cooldown so that you can effectively use it. And really, you want to be the one over here. You want your team to be on this side, and... Well, first you want your team... You guys need to get this tower, and then you leave Lifestealer in this bottom half. Not this half. He can farm Ancients. No one else on your team can farm Ancients well right now. But he can do it, because Feast does so much damage against these, like, high health heroes. Legion wants kills. Smoke up. I can't see what's in stock. You guys gotta smoke. You gotta get kills. Auto-attacking that missile, by the way, gives away your position. And there's like no way you'll get it, so I would avoid doing it. I think the rocket also has vision itself, so I would just like get out of the path. Don't let them know where you are. Like, you should be playing this aggressive ganking style with these two guys. And you never want to reveal your position if you can. And that way they'll always be scared whenever you're not on the map. Like, you three want to be doing stuff while these two farm on their own. And just let him contribute with Sunstrikes. And then whenever he has Infest up, then he can join one of the ganks. Either he TPs to you guys or you guys go to where he is, whatever. He infests Legion. You guys go get a kill. I think I said this earlier. Say you get a kill bottom. Then the 3 of you leave him there. Let him stay here alone and farm. And you guys go somewhere else to cause havoc. Or he TPs out and you stay bottom. But you want to get him involved when it's off cooldown, because that's just like a good combo. It's like why you draft these guys together. And then he goes back to farming. So right now you have duel. You leave this. Leave that. Leave it for... Where is he? Now, see, he's still up here. He needs to be the one down here doing this. And you guys go up here. You farm where it's more dangerous. And you guys go... Gank this guy. Kill him. What's he have? He's got 1,200 health. Remember earlier I said you probably have about 1,000? Now you're higher level. Now this does 280 damage. You have his ult. You have Sandstorm. He never has Sunstrike invoked, so I can't show how much it does. And I don't know it by heart. Ideally, I think you would have at least 1 point in this by now. But honestly, even not having it, this adds a good amount of damage. You know? Someone stun this guy, duel him, you'll kill him. This is a weird build. He shouldn't be able to do this. He should have to get like a Manta. Instead, he's got a Basher to fight, but you can still kill him because he's not strong enough, and that's why people don't get Basher second on Anti-Mage. He's not ready to fight yet at that point. So this is kind of weird. The smoke animation carries out quite far. I'm pretty sure they can see that just happened. And there's really no need to smoke right here if they're right here, you know? You smoke in your jungle when you want to come over here to gank them in this jungle, and you're like, oh, they might see us in this, like, wards. If you just try to smoke and run in here, they're going to see you because it's daylight, like, by the time the smoke pops. And since you didn't build Blink, and he doesn't have his Blink, like, no one can initiate. Maybe you can swap someone in, I guess, but there are multiple people here. This is not where you want to, like, smoke, initiate, fight. You want to go, like, look for them in the jungle, or... Well, no one's in mid yet, but... Okay, this is good. Push it. This is no longer laning stage. You no longer have to wait to last hit. You just push these waves as fast as you can. You just auto-attack, and then move on. Move on to the jungle. To this jungle. Come to this one. Get these Ancients. As soon as it's scary for you. Yeah, see, AM's like free farming in here. You want to be down here. And you three, come up here. Don't let AM be in there alone. It's the hard guy to kill. You can do it, though. That's kind of a weird... Was that his? Alright, that was kind of... That seemed good, and I'm not sure what happened, so let's watch that a little slower. Gyro's an okay target, but it scares me a little bit. Because he has Side Gunner, he will still do a lot of damage in, like, dueled. It's like one of the benefits of this, is that even when he's stunned, he's still dealing damage. It's a little scary. Gotta slow down. Okay, Laguna on Venge, that's not too bad. You would have a Venge illusion to do a couple auto attacks and scout right now if you had 1 point in your E. You get the kill. This is good for you right now. This comes a little late, but that's okay. Committed to guarantee the kill. That's fine. At this point, I would not be trying to fight. You guys are behind, and it's now a 3v3. You know Lena's down here. You just used Epicenter. Duel is down. This guy just used his spells. It's time to leave. Because you have nothing else to fight with. And they do, because they're better straight-up auto-attackers than you guys. Trying to kill Morphling, but you guys, like, he is super hard to kill. Someone needs a Soul Vessel on your team to be able to kill him, honestly. And it's probably this Invoker, since he built the urn. Soul Vessel on him is not that bad, but it's a little weird, because that's usually a Quas Wex build. Rather than a Quas Exort. What are we at? Oh god, we're at an hour and 13. It's only 22 minutes in. I can probably stop about now, honestly, because this game's kind of... What is this? I would not recommend this. He's gonna die.
Tower is under attack.
Regeneration.
What are you doing in here, buddy? Get out of here. I can't believe they're not just killing him. That was a whack.
Radiant's middle tower shouldn't have to take this.
I really don't like a lot of these infests. It's not efficient. Yeah, level 2 can be used on ancient creeps. So now that you have level 2, you can at least use it on these guys, which will give you a lot more gold for your time. Never kill him. Morphling is the counter pick to Lifestealer, because you're literally Lifestealer but better
After 9 kills in
if you're
development,
Morphling.
hopefully it was worth the wait.
You need your team to be able to go on him. That's why you guys have to play fast this game. It's because, like, ultimately, they're all a lot better. I didn't even need to watch that fight. I know, like, at this point, it's not working out. So I probably will stop this about now, because it's already at an hour. And to just, like, round off what I was saying. Usually your lineup would be good going late, but it's not against these guys. So you just have to play faster. So this guy probably should have just gotten Soul Vessel instead of trying to get this Ags first. Again, he's our random. We're not going to worry about it. This should be a Medallion because he already has an Urn. I already commented on your farming patterns, and I already commented about all of this. So essentially, if you guys wanted to win this game in particular, you have to do that whole thing I was talking about. Like, these 3 guys make a lot of space by playing around duel. It's pretty low cooldown overall, 50 seconds, you know? So, essentially, you're looking for a kill every minute. And you really can. You can do that, especially with, like, these 3 all together. Just throw out all your spells, that's a kill. Tell him, hey, we're looking for a duel, get ready to Sunstrike. He'll be like, okay, I love free Sunstrike kills. And he does. It's really helpful for him. You get the duel damage, you guys get experience, you open up space, he gets gold. Win-win for everyone. Occasionally pull this guy in, then leave him to farm. Now, having said that, knowing how to play the map is, like, really tough. It's, like, it's really hard to understand, like, where you need to be at all times, so I don't want to flame too hard on that. Something more, to be more approachable, I guess, on it is, like, I think I pointed out some laning tips, like focusing on getting the range creeps and cutting, like, some of these trees. Those are really good places to start in terms of how to improve. Like, if you have a better laning stage, just the games will just be easier because you'll just have a better start. Cutting this tree, commit spells for range creeps, and then in terms of playing as a group of 4 plus 1 random, that's kind of hard because I don't know. Wow. Do you think it's the new patch? Probably not. It's probably some small thing. But didn't a tournament just finish? What if this is the new patch? It probably isn't, though. Your legend, which is quite high relative to these guys, not the flame or, like, anything. That's just, like, reality. Which is similar to, like, when I play with my friends. I'm, like, high divine, but the group of friends I play with, which is also 4 people, actually, one is also somewhat close to me, low divine, high ancient, and then the other 2 are more like Archon Crusader. So we also have, like, a similar skill gap. And what works for us is that me as the highest, or my friend also similarly highest, one of us has to play a space maker, which in this case, Legion is a space maker, but in this game just wasn't played as a space maker. And one of us makes space for either our random player to be the carry, or for whichever us is playing the carry, me or my friend. And we just try to direct our other friends, like, hey, come play with me, or hey, can you push out that lane, or do whatever, honestly. But having someone who, like, is the highest level, play a strong hero that can create space, that's worked for us. Maybe that works for you. I don't know. You can try it. Another thing that helps is not playing totally new heroes every single time. Like, give yourself a category. Not just a role necessarily, but, like, hey, I play the space making hero. So I switch between heroes like Legion, Centaur, Sand King if you're an offlaner. Underlord to an extent is kind of like that same idea. But just someone who, like, is this scary frontliner who can make space, and then someone else plays, like, okay, I play hard carries, or I play, like, very active early carries, or I play this hero that pushes very well. And you kind of, like, start with these, like, basic styles and then figure out which heroes match that. Pushing heroes. Jakira's a pushing hero. Leshrack's a pushing hero. Lina can push. These people with AoE clears. So, like, Dark Willow, not a very good pushing hero because she can't do it quickly. And you kind of, like, fill these categories. I bring team fight. I'm a warlock. I'm a phoenix. I'm a winter wyvern. And that way you get this like feel of always playing similar styles, and you're still able to pick different heroes, so you're not like always doing the same one if that's boring to you. And that way you can kind of develop a play style, and then from there do different things as you want, or just do different things. It's up to you guys. It's just a game, right? It's just for fun. Hopefully this was helpful to you. I tried to like touch on everything, which is a little hard, admittedly. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want more specifics, that's another way to improve. I really recommend like watching educational content, and I'm not just saying that because I'm making it, but like how many, let's see, oops, where was it? Watch tab, yeah. So like how many Legion games would you have to play before you realize for yourself that maybe Aghanims isn't the best item, or that maybe you need a blink against AM? So like even if it took one game to learn that, which is about an hour, and then this video was an hour, and I hope you learned more than that in this 1 hour, right? But educational content is a great way to like really jump forward your game knowledge. Whoever you want to watch, if my videos are boring, that's fine, like go to someone else. But generally I think that's the fastest way to improve. Have people hand you the knowledge that they took. How long have I been, what's my Steam time? 6,000 hours about. Not in the client alone. That doesn't even include like me watching videos or theory crafting or whatever, thinking about the game. And now I like just tell it to you. It's a lot faster. So I think that's a great way to improve if you're looking to get better at this game as a group. Everyone kind of, I don't want to tell you you have to pick a role, but if you know what roles you like, that helps. If you guys are just free flying it and doing whatever, then any educational content helps so that you learn all parts of the game, and that's fine too. A lot of my videos, my own gameplay is position 4, so whoever does that, I guess the Sand King player, you can watch mine if you want, if you find that useful. I've done some other replays for other positions, but I don't know, just find content for your position, learn it a bit, understand what the role does, all of that kind of stuff. Just find these nifty tips and tricks, and I think that's the fastest way to improve. Or it'll at least tell you what you need to improve on, right? Besides the obvious, like you need to last hit better, you need to do whatever. But your draft is good. I like that. Usually that's something hard to explain to people, but this draft is good. So you just need to learn to like, what does our draft do? It's active, and I didn't see that this time. So you picked a good draft, but you have to play the draft, and you have to pick items that match that draft, which to an extent these do, but I just don't think they're the most efficient, which I already went over. So I will stop now. Thank you for watching.